Hi, friends. I'm like so excited when I woke up out of the early morning. Please join me if you want to come on the stream. I'll put it in the playground here. So Bert and Michael, Cillian, Bertola, um, they're starting the playground, the Impact Playground. And I said, this is awesome. You know, many years ago, as I started looking at so many different Captain Future's here. Captain Future's here.
Hello.
You have to tell me more. I woke up in the middle of the night and it was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect because I'm flying back to California today in all the smoke. So welcome. Tell us about Impact Playground because I really want to know.
Impact Playground, yeah. It's a concept that we've been developing for several years.
Right.
Yeah, and it inclines a lot of things. Like it's a playful experience to what you can do together in a limited space in a limited time to solve any problems, to build relationships, what we call social capital, and play around concepts or ideas and dreams and possibilities and challenges. So it's kind of like a hackathon, but instead of you coming together over like in a hackathon solving a challenge for 24 hours and then presenting a solutions, this is just coming together to actually discuss challenges, and then afterwards a playground. Then the real work starts. So then you have formed the alliances, the bonding and the bridging and the linking and the social capital come together to actually solve real challenges together over a period of time or something like that. So that's the idea. Like you bring people together and discuss a problem or challenge or opportunities and stuff, and then afterwards you have formed a new communities, alliances, and networks to start solving these problems. So something like that.
No, it's bigger than that. I just love you guys. And I think like, you know, energetically when I met Bertola, yeah, there we go. Thank you. When I met Bert, I like being on the
Yeah, it has to be.
I just woke up. Literally, I'm in Colorado, so it's pretty early morning, and I'm having my lake coffee. I watched the lake coffee, and I thought, oh, this is great. I want to get his coffee and drink it. You know. So my son was making coffee early, and I went up, and he was like, "What are you doing up, Mom?" And I said, "I don't know. I just got this inspiration, and I woke up, and here you and Bert were just playing in this world." And I just feel like, you know, this is what I've been up to for years and years. And you know, I wrote an article called The Cookie Dream. And the Cookie Dream was in 2002, the dream came. And it was about building a local cookie, you know, and that all the farmers and all the connections locally would create the sustainable cookie, right? So the Cookie Dream ended up being, you know, I was in the newspaper in Ithaca, New York, and it was like, you know, it kind of took off and we built the sustainable store and, you know, the whole thing. But 9/11 happened, you know, right after this. And so we lost a lot of money. But, you know, the Cookie Dream really lives deeply in me. And I'd been doing it when I met Bert and I met you and, you know, in Oakland. We met in Oakland a couple of years ago. You know, I'm just so excited to play with you guys. And I think right now working on sustainable development goals is really key. But tell us about the 24 hours. Like, what do you want to inspire in others? What do you want to develop, you know, in this 24 hours? Because it starts in Sweden. So I have to get the Sweden time, you know, like I'll play full on. I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah, so like we have a like around the clock schedule, and there's some loose activities and stuff. But there's like we're gonna have a opening session at noon Central European time, Stockholm time, and we're gonna have a closing panel the next day around noon as well. So I think 11, and in the evening Swedish time, so that will be the afternoon US time or mid that will be 9 noon in California. We will do a world shift workshop. It's a 3-hour workshop, so it will be from 12 to 3 p.m. your time.
So 12 to 3? No, it'll be 9 to 3. 9 to Let's see.
9 to 12 here in Sweden. I think we still we haven't. It's not very set. We're gonna set it really like within an hour. We have to decide.
Okay, good. Yeah, let me just broadcast with you, and I'll just do a broadcast from San Francisco, from Silicon Valley, and you know, I definitely
7 to 10. So that's gonna be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. California time. Yeah.
Okay, starting tomorrow. Good. Awesome. So it starts on the 26th and goes to the 27th.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, for me, the Torch family, I've been looking at it a lot because I've been in Colorado dropping my last child off to college. And, you know, my heart's heavy. But, you know, one of the things that sparked me this morning was this idea that money runs us. And when I was listening to the interview that Bert was doing with the two gentlemen with Lake Coffee and Big Lake Coffee, and I don't know their names, you would know them, but I felt like, you know, my daughter's biggest tears last night as I said goodbye to her, it was about money, you know, and her fear of money. You know, she's been living with a single mom and, you know, just like living in that dream of like striving for the next thing. And I just felt so sad that that would be her fear, you know,
Yeah.
because her dream needs to be there. And I've instilled that with my kids. And, you know, I have 4 entrepreneurs, I would say 3 full-on entrepreneurs in my family, and they're doing really, really phenomenal work in sustainability. But it's just this intensity of like striving, you know, for the individual family. And I've always tried to instill to say, you got to do it in community. You got to do it, you know, to build a sustainable world. We need to bridge so much more for our kids, you know, and it's just, we can't do it by ourselves. It has to come from the collective.
Yeah, it does, certainly.
Yeah, yeah. So what the Torch family is doing, and I would love your ideas. So this came up in 2015, and Humanitera was prior to that. So I started that in 2012 to be able to build a healthcare system that was larger than what we had, a table talk healthcare plan. So I did radio show, I did all this stuff because I was a nurse and I was watching elders not being cared for. And I felt so sad that they weren't being initiated to live their life all the way till they die, you know? And
Yeah.
so Table Talk Healthcare came from a circle approach to really building community around people so that they can die with complete joy all the way through their life, you know, and have people around them, not just their doctors. And so Torch came about in 2015 after my big influencer was Michio and Aveline Kushi that started the natural food industry in America. And I met Michio at 27 years old, and I just ran with it, you know, for all these years. I said, he's doing the work. And, you know, it's been a huge influence here in America for the natural food industry. And there's a health food store now in every town. And I mean, the feds were after them back, you know, 50 years ago, like trying to stop them, you know. And Aveline's stories of sitting on a can, she had to put all the books in a trash can and sit on it when the feds would come into the store, you know, like that's her story. It was like, so, you know, crazy, right? So if you look at them as influencers, and the Torch dream came right after he died, and he always said we had to spark the earth, you know, we had to spark. I'm going over to Japan to spark. I'm going over to Europe to spark. I'm going, you know, and he would just go places and, like Bert and you, how you go places and just spark interest in waking, you know, people to work together, and let's enjoy the social impact together. And it's such a beautiful dream. So the Torch has these 4 pillars: peace, health, environment, and technology. So I would love your interest in, you know, working on a local system with 4 people. At least somebody's interested in peace, somebody's interested in health, somebody's interested in environment, and somebody's interested in tech, and building a 4-person team locally so that you've got a team connected to work on those 4 issues, and then come up with one project in each town to influence and support one another, and then grow it, you know, spiral it out. So it would be nice to, you know, just get your ideas on how to move this, because it's, you know, it's been a really huge team from Pakistan, as you know,
Mhm.
and they're great influencers. I mean, they're amazing. Haji Khan Faroch and Taqwa Ahmed, and Rehan is definitely. I see him as a torch. I see you and both of you as a torch, like passing that spark on, passing that witness to each other, to love, to love each other, to say, I got your back,
Yeah.
So what do you think? How can I want to spur it on.
Yeah, like this is a whole new level of our type of event, because Bartola excellently found a global crowd all interested in the global goals, and so this is going to be much more people from networks we've never been contacted before, and so we're going to see how far we can take this. This is going to be very interesting, and we're doing all this work for free so far. So we're looking at all kinds of funding to continue to do the work that I and Bartola are doing. So
same. I've been doing it for free for all these years, and I think the influence financially and fiscally has to come up with projects that are fiscally responsible to the local regions. And I think building those projects, that's why I want to go back to Pakistan for the next 3 months, if there's a possibility, and sustain local villages to create income. And some of the work with UC Berkeley students I did in Berkeley and Oakland, the gang members there were really, there's a huge war in the inner city of Oakland between the Blacks and the Latino families, and there's this inner city war. And so I'd go to gang members and just talk to them and say, what can we do here? How can we stop the shootings, and just have these conversations? So building impact into extreme places is kind of what I've been doing, for many years. And I think, I don't know, I just feel like the impact can be so influential. And there were gardens started that year in Oakland, by a guy, and there were so many things started. And the UC Berkeley students and I worked on green cups, because all the people in the People's Park, where actually a lot happened in the 60s with having your voice, that's where it kind of happened in Berkeley, with being able to have free speech. And the People's Park was huge. And so they were feeding the homeless. We were feeding, I think, every Sunday at 6 a.m. and they were feeding them in styrofoam. And I said, how can we solve this issue? How can we create a new sustainable idea? And this was in 2010. And so what we did is we worked with a local farmer that was going to lose her farm. And then each box of her food being sold directly to the church, $1 per box would go out and buy the sustainable cups. So it was a local economic circle approach to, a creative solution so that everybody wins, right? And so that took off beautifully, and the students that worked with me are still building these type projects now. And we had over 100 kids to start, and I think there were only 6 at the end that stayed with me all the way through. But it was like so beautiful, because this Star of Hope project started with Latino women. They were undocumented here in Oakland, and their families were really struggling because nobody was paying for cash in 2008, right after that crash. And so their husbands were not getting jobs. So there were no jobs available. And so there was a lot of violence at home. There was a lot of destruction. And so we just tried to make impact there as well. And we started the Star of Hope project. So I would hand you a star, Michael, and I say, I got your back no matter what. But when I hand you that star, I'd give you 5 more stars. And I said, the only thing I ask is you to hand out 5 stars to 5 more people to say that you've got their back no matter what. And those 5 stars would go on. And when you hand a star over to the next person, you say, I'm going to give you 5 more stars. So each person had to make 25 stars. And the project's still going. The project's still going.
It's like a positive pyramid scheme. Yeah,
it was fantastic. And I feel like, I got so excited about it, because when I heard it was still running after 3 years and it was just a project I was doing, I just got really excited about it. But it came out of a dream from a woman. Her mom died and she was from Mexico. And she said if she would have been in Mexico, everybody would have surrounded her with love, when her mom died. And instead, in Oakland, her mom died, and she was left alone after the emergency car came and picked up her mom to take her to the morgue. And it was like she was just crying in front of maybe 20 women that I was working with every week. And I said, we gotta do this. And then I just like dreamt this dream, like the Star of Hope, creating this system. And so I think these type systems are what we need, because what I heard from the two gentlemen that Bert just shared with, that social impact, one was the financial person and one is the Big Lake Coffee, creating, localized, ideas around coffee. I just thought this was great. This is so important. So tell me more. What should we, I really want your ideas. Like I like your game playing. I'm totally into game playing. Like I'm totally want to go home and start a board game online and get people to play, because I think, I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's great ways to actually play board games online. No, I don't play much board games online, but I have some friends who do it. See if I can find the page for that. But I like playing board games. I play some computer games, and I play what we call a glass bead game. That is more like a play on words and thinking that we do every Monday. So it's a fantastic experience, and I'm part of some of the games that they play in a network called the STOA, that's based out of Canada and US somewhat. So last night we had a game called Flowing with Unknowingness, where MC DJ just plays instrumental loop of music, and we all one at a time we start rapping or do speaking word to this song, and it goes on for 90 minutes. It's my third time last night, and it's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Before, but suddenly I find myself rapping on English in the middle of the night.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
This is like games we play. Glass Bead Games is a fantastic concept. You can find it on the homepage. I share the link here. This is in the basic information. You come together, a bunch of people, and then you divide people up in groups of 2 or maybe 3, and then you do a 10-minute round. You start with 1 minute meditation, and then you do a round of 10 minutes, 1 minute each, and you start talking about the subject. Like you can talk about impact, you can talk about torch, you can talk about life, you can talk about last night we had 3 words. We had nonsense, we had deception, and we had unexpected and surprise as subject. And you talk about this word, and you can't use the word I or you, so you have to talk about everything in third person and stuff like that, and that sets your mind free from the ego. So this is, you talk about the concept, and then another person builds upon what you said, and then you build back upon what the first person said, and you develop new thinking around a word or a concept. And it's surprising. Like I said, I have spent 25 years really philosophizing and thinking about the concept of reality and stuff like that. And just in a 10-minute period, I come up with new ideas around a subject I've been thinking about for 25 years. So that's the real power of this game.
Play it with me right now. Come on. I want to know how to do it. So come up with a name, right? Come up with a word.
Yeah.
You can't say I or you, right?
Yeah.
Is that the game play? And so show me how it works. Like,
yeah, we can do. We can do a short introduction game where we do 30 seconds rounds. So
okay.
So I'll set up my timer here. We have usually has an online timer.
Okay. Should I set up my timer too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can start with a 30-second meditation, and then every 30 seconds we switch for 5 minutes. And we can use the word impact them. So this is a fun experience.
Okay, good. So 40 seconds.
30
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so each one goes 30 seconds.
Yeah, so we start, we say go, and then we start with a 30 seconds meditation, and then I can go first, and we use the word impact, and then we go for 5 minutes total.
Okay, I hope. All right, I'm going to learn. Woohoo!
You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
So, go. Yes, impact. Impact is what you get from an impact crater. A big event that makes a big splash. What can impact more be? Impact is something that transpires for a short period of time. Impact, the thing we are striving for. Go.
Impact light, impact internal wisdom, impact community, impact impactfulness within, impact with others, impact with this beauty of this beautiful nature that around us, impact with connection. Go.
Impact with connection. It's a connection you can make that makes impact, or impact is the connection that is made. So what happens when some make an impact connection instead of a normal connection? It's really an impact that really affects a person deeply and profound, an impact connection. Go.
Impact this deeper connection, so it's open from the heart. This impact of like deep love that sparks us, this impact that deepens the children of the world so that they have a place to live, the impact that the community can create each of us to sustain, the impact with deep love. Go.
Yeah. Impact goes deep. It can go deep in the body, it can go deep in the ground, it can go deep into the systems we have to change. So go softly into a system you change will change it slowly over a long time, but that's not what is needed now. Now it's needed to deep impact, big change over a fairly short period of time. Deep impact.
The joy of impact, the joy of love, the joy of like, going deep with you as my brother or sister. I mean, the impact of watching the thrive of someone playing, no matter what age, the impact of play, the impact of ground, ground, the ground we play on,
Yeah.
that we impact each other. Oh.
So impact on the playground. It inspires to something that is an impact playground, an event that have profound deepness and profound love and profound connection into it. So how do we make it more impactful? Go.
Impacting this inner city relationship to all issues that we're facing, that the ground that we live on, everyone can be fed, everyone can play, everyone can enjoy, everyone can bring that heart connection to each other, to know that the impact is touching with value, the value of impact, the value of another human being. Go.
The impact that really connects in a playground. Everyone is welcome to play, to make impact. This is the openness of this. Everyone is welcome. It's the randomness. Everyone can play in unforeseen ways. And everyone is supported. We help everyone along in the play. Come play Impact Playground. Or
impacting like the gifts of an individual, that individual amazing passion within each of us, the impact of like this deeper place. I feel like, touching each of these people that we love, smiling and giving the joy, the world impact. The world impact comes from just one smile. The world impact comes from just one playground, one play. So join the impact playground. Go.
Yeah, it's done.
That was
I really
awesome.
like that.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Wow.
So that's
Wow.
the power of the game, and then we usually follow up between a 10 minutes to 30 minutes conversation, and then or we just go directly into another game and it's connected. So we usually do three games in a row that is connected somewhat, and the amount of insight and
Oops.
and
Sorry, my clock's still going.
yeah. The amount of insight you can build in a such short period your display is fantastic. Like right now, I came up with new thinking around what Impact Playground actually is, and the things I haven't never thought about before, just by doing this short.
Oh yeah.
Game.
Yeah, deep. It's wonderful.
Mhm.
I think words, when you think of word and sound and what we do with our words, this game can really go far. Because most of us that want to make social impact, I think, is really, we don't come from that ego, but this passion, to really want change. And I think, Torch's acronym, the Organization for Realizing Change in Humanity, I would love this to be a very deep part of our organization. I think this would help us a lot, because it's a group of entrepreneurs, but we work together in our own individual silos. And I've been trying to bridge, like, how do we work more deeply and interwoven, for the tapestry of love and impacting our local communities. And I think that's really key. Who started the glass bead game, Michael?
I think it's a couple of people from England. He's called what's he called? He's called. Let's see, I have it here.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, Lawrence, and there are some other people around him, Jen as well, who have developed it. And they just started as an online. They started last year when in the Emerge gathering in Kiev in Ukraine. I was there with them, and then it just went online this spring when with like everything else, and it just for us it just evolved from there. It's still a very small group who plays it, but I can see the power. It's not for everyone. Not everyone get excited about doing things like this, but I do. And I've been playing almost every Monday since I found this in April, and it's the highlight, the most profound online experience I've had my whole life.
Yeah, I think this is where you can get on and talk and think of the downloads that we download as individuals, but to play a game where it's impactful to each other, it's like, oh, this is so good. Yeah, I'm totally dreaming about it.
If you're familiar with Otto Chalmers and Pete Senge's Theory U and ULab course, they have it was an online MOOC they started in 2015 called ULab, and they have a Theory U. Then there's in part of that there's 4 steps that they call the 4 levels of listening. So the first one is downloading, the next one is dialogue, and then it's I don't have this in my head.
No, but I'm going to put my new gameplay with Michael. Gameplay. Okay, so it's called ULab.
Yeah. 4 levels of listening is downloading. That's when I listen to you, I don't actually listen. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say next. And then you have seeing. That's then I'd actually listen to what you say, but I don't take in too much. And then we have what they call sensing or empathic listening. Then that's when I actually I listen to what you say, and I change things in how I think and see things when I actually listen. And the last part is called presencing or generative dialogue, and that's where we actually together come up with new things in this dialogue, and we evolve a concept, a thinking around the subject, and change it yourself. And this Glassbeat game is a perfect example of how you quickly can go in what we call generative dialogue around the concept of thinking. And it's amazing. Like it usually takes like a lot of training to do this, but this is a fairly like a quick, playful way to do it. And like you said, like games are fantastic if we used right. We just game and play is the thing we're missing in our modern society. We just have forgotten how to do it. There's a fantastic quote by John Vervaeke that says, "What we lack in our society is serious play." And this is that this is the concept. Both Glassbeat games use the concept of Homo ludens, and there's a whole chapter in Charles Eisenstein's book, The Descent of Humanity, around play and Homo ludens as well, because we are the playing mammal. Several mammals play a lot, like otters and dolphins and stuff like that, but we put a lot more cognitive and intention around play, and for many years we have seen this as a child's activity, or even child has to have allotted time to play. Now you go to school and then you have a break when you're allowed to play, and when you come home after you've done your homework, you go to bed, you're allowed to play, but not the other time. And it's actually the other way around, because most of the learning a child does is through play, and we can see that in many mammals. Play is the invention that the mammals invented to learn things as we grow up. But many mammals don't stop playing as we grow old, because we can actually play as adults as well. And all innovation and problem solving we have done has come from play. So the computer we use now, the smartphones, everything comes. All inventions come from play. And people who says we should play, they shouldn't be allowed to use them. Then. Okay, leave all your gadgets and all your inventions, even the fire and clothes you're wearing. Leave that at the door, because they all come from play. And then you say, okay. So we have to celebrate play, and we have to go what we do adult play. That's not the same as children's play, but adult play is like the Glassbeat game, where we actually think problem solve, come together, or just like board games, just have a build community and friends and family together through play. So there's a lot of levels of play that we have to explore, and it's not a waste of time. Play is how we take society forward. And that's why we use the World Playground, because this is how we do it. This invention and new ideas and new systems and new concepts come from play, and that's why we have a playground.
You know, I held the May Day at my house for 12 years. Okay, so I brought the children over and they stayed overnight. But for 2 months prior, all the adults and all the children would learn the songs that were going to happen on May Day. So everyone knew the same song. Everyone knew the same ideas. So the children would come, and what would happen is the adults would come that morning before the sun rise up. So we'd light the fire before the sun rise up, and I had baked beans every year. So everybody knew the baked beans were cooking through the night. So the smell of the house, the farmhouse, everything was just vibrant, right? So this type of play of food and the apple crisp, and then everyone brought food. So of course that collective relationship to food. Marcy's on here with us, and Marcy's a great food person. And and she's super playful. So it's exciting for you and her to meet. But this type of play would happen, and the adults and the children knew complete understanding of play together. And it was one of the most significant moments in my adult life every year, because it happened a couple months before. And then I built festival after festival throughout the year to create system change like that, so that the adults and the children played together. So the children don't think that the adults don't play. Because I think most of the children think that we don't play, and it's because this world has been set up without play, So I really want to learn some of these people that you're talking about. So thanks for putting that in. I appreciate it a lot. The Maypole literally brought so many people. By the last couple of years, we had probably 50 people with musicians, and it ended up being this huge festival every year. And it was just so beautiful. And that's what I know some of these festivals that you and Bertola have, Impact Journey and all of the work that you guys have been doing for this long. It's so fun because I feel like I've got my brothers here and I'm like, yay, I've got playful people. I love Floris. When I met Floris, I felt like he was doing a lot of play as well. And he was working on.
I love Floris. Good.
Yeah. Floris is doing the work and, really standing for that. And, I just want to learn more of it. I've been out of work because of COVID and I got really sick and, I've stayed out because I've got a few more tests and, thinking about how to direct and then leaving my child with this deep sobbing yesterday. I said, what are your deepest fears? I said, I've got your back and your brother's got your back and your siblings have your back. She's got amazing siblings. And she just said, it's money, and it was so sad for me leaving her with that thought. I said, you don't have to worry. Just enjoy, So I sent all of them Impact Playground. So anybody that just came on, Michael and Bertola are doing Impact Playground, and share more, Michael, what it's about so people will know that people just came on.
It's Impact Playground is an event that we do during May, this time 24 hours. So it's a kind of a hackathon, but kind of the opposite as well. So we come together to build community. We share ideas. We build what we call social capital. That's networking, and the three parts of it is bonding, bridging, and linking. So the bonding is when you build the deep connections and new friends, and the bridging is when you connect people all over the world or locally that works on similar or different projects. So you share ideas and insights. And the linking is when you actually need connect people that have resources you need. And I call them enablers. It can be money, it can be contacts, it can be knowledge, it can be other networks and stuff like that. So you link different projects and people together that have resources or enablers you need to solve a problem or a challenge like that. And during this event, it's like we have a traditional. This is going to be online Zoom events. We have the traditional check-in, and we have some key presentations to get people knowing. But then we also have exercises. We have going to do a world shift exercise where we put people together to share a dream or a passion or a challenge or a problem they see, and then you evolve what is the solution or the path forward from this challenge you see, and then you take responsibility. What is your action to actually work towards this direction or solving or stuff like that. So this is a 3-hour exercise and workshop that's called World Shift. It's a very simple model. You can have a piece of paper with 2 boxes and an arrow. We will see how we can solve this online with people taking screenshots and doing it on their phones and stuff like that. But in the end, it's not a hackathon. Is like usually you come together, you form groups, and you form a solution around a challenge or problem. Usually a digital product from the beginning, but nowadays it can be a concept or a business idea or stuff like that to solve a challenge or problem. And then when it's for 24 hours are done, you part your ways, and some people who won the hackathon maybe get some funding to continue to work about it. But this is the opposite. It actually works when the playground ends. You form the connections, the insights, and the social capital you need to solve challenges over a long period of time. And then hopefully some people have made new insights and new connections to actually start working on new projects and new experiments and prototyping around something. So this is what the playground is for, to come together and play around an idea or a challenge and try, like the short Glassbead game here, about to come up with new ideas and insights around how to work something or build new connections and find new resources, what you need. So you can ask for help, or you can offer to help people, mentorship, resources, knowledge, networks to solve challenges and problems around that. So that's what you can do in a playground.
We did it with Fyodor, with the World Shift. We did it in the room, and I hosted one of Fyodor's friends from you just went over there, I think, to Greece, right?
Yeah. From Greece, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't heard from her recently. I need to reconnect. It's so funny because the online relationships, you just kind of go out and out and out. And when we want to build the deeper relationships, the deeper impact, for me, it's about spending that quality time with each other, like just getting to know you better, Michael, and going deeper with you or Bert or Rayhan, or Rayhan and I haven't connected for a little bit, and I'm like, Rayhan, I'm missing you. And I remember Rayhan's first dream was like, I want 500 people in the same room. And I said, Rayhan, I think we have it. We need to create this now. 500 people in the same room, like, because we've learned each other, like just, we don't know each other real well, but we know each other now, after all this. And it's been so fun. And then the SDG Academy, how did the Silk Road go? Did that go well?
Yeah, it went really well. So it started connecting people all around the world and thinking this in new ways. So the Silk Road, there was also a playground. So how do we take an old concept like the Silk Road that been around for thousands of years, and what is a modern Silk Road? The Silk Road is a trade route where we share. You can see basically you travel along it to trade goods and services, but actually what happened around the Silk Road was that the whole cultures and cities and marketplaces and hubs grew up. So these hubs in itself became marketplaces where people met and you shared ideas, and so it was a way to create the flourishing society around trade. So it was not just goods and services; it was all the people and all the ideas and all the cultures that grow around this, and it became like a global thing. So this was a global project. People from all kinds of the world and cultures lived around the Silk Road or traveled around the Silk Road. So what is a modern Silk Road then?
Yeah, I studied it.
Sharing ideas and insights globally. So that's what the Silk Road was around, and I thought we did a good job of starting that. This is a concept we can use going into the future in many new ways and forward. So it's a great idea, connecting history into something new, I think.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Studying theology and creating, so many people are against religion and want to go towards spirituality. But when I look at religion and see the impact of what religion did, there's so many good parts to it. So there's that whole, as a theologian, I've been looking at what is the impact of religion prior to all the chaos, And so, this impact of feeling of love, why do people gather around a church or a mosque, or they do it because they love, and so this impact of throwing the baby out with the bathwater is the same thing with the Silk Road. So many connections, interfaith connections came out of Silk Road, seriously.
Yeah.
And
so it was a peace project even back then, because
yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, like along this Silk Road, many people from different parts of the world with different cultures and definitely different religions lived peacefully together in a common interest to actually share trade, and in that they also shared ideas and cultures and stuff like that. So back then it was a peace project, because of course there was a lot of war and conquering and empire building and warmongers, men in suit and armor that inflicted so much suffering on the world in their own ideas of building their own empire and stuff like that. But there was also projects like this that were an actual peace project, because the opposite of war is of actually the trade of ideas and services. So.
I think it's really important to really open that door to. I love this idea of new playgrounds. Playgrounds. So let's enjoy Impact Playground. We start tomorrow morning at 9 Pacific time, right?
We start noon tomorrow, European time. So that will be 3 a.m. for you for the
3
first.
3 a.m. Okay, I'm up. I'm gonna do it. I'm joining in. 3 a.m.
And if you want to join the World Shift exercise, it's 7 p.m. Central European time. So that will be 1 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. California time.
Okay.
Yeah, and it will be it's 6 hours to Singapore, so it will be 1 a.m. Singapore time if you're in that part of the world.
I'm going to create a whole 24-hour.
Yeah, we have a Facebook event to share that, and right just after this call, me and Bartola are going to put up the schedule there, so you can see the schedule in all the time zones you're in as well.
Send it to me, and then we'll put it on a website.
Yeah, I'll send it to you as well.
Because Earth Day we did the 48 hours, you know, and so we'll put it on Eco Inspired Living, and we'll create, you know, that 24 hours for you guys as well.
Yeah,
you know, here. So love it. Thank you. Thank you for playing Impact Game with Bead Game. That was fantastic.
Bead Games. Yeah, I shared all the links in the comments. So you have all the links already.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Have fun. We're gonna have fun. Come play with us. Come play with us.
Yeah.
Come play the Impact Playground. All right.
And bring your signals.
There we are. There we are. I have to say, I have a funny thing, and I have to tell you this before you go.
Yeah.
So I've been playing with the Mayan culture for the first time because I didn't know anything about the Mayan tradition. But look at my new playmate. This is a new playmate. And it's been really interesting with the skulls. And they call them the crystal skulls, and they are earth connected from way, way back. And so my friend Jose carries 40,000-year-old skulls with him.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so totally amazing. So she's been an amazing player with me, this impactor. So she's a new impactor with us. She's going to play the game.
Cool. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.